Hello and welcome back to this Doctor Who podcast.
Yep.
Still not named
Sunday
it.
night, back at it.
Sunday night, messy hot takes.
Yep.
Last week we did it and it was quite successful.
Yeah,
I thought it was.
It's like fresh in your blood.
I mean, I've just seen it basically twice now.
Yeah, guttural reaction.
Just hot takes gushing everywhere, straight from our heart and
no
guts.
time to think about it. Like,
Yeah.
primal.
Like we'll go away and we'll notice something that was quite obvious, and then that'll change our entire opinion on the thing, and we'll be like, oh, what, that was great or horrible.
Well, that was a pretty straight Doctor Who.
It was very straight.
It was take it as you.
It was a base under siege.
It was.
Which I quite like as a format. Like, it can get a bit much when you keep doing it. Say if you're the second Doctor. But, no, because that felt like they were hitting their quota of we need to do at least one base under siege a season to
you need to do a spaceship episode as well.
Well, the reveal of it being a spaceship was a thing. They got into it and it was meant to be this huge reveal. Like the music and the Doctor's reaction was trying to sell it as a big deal, and everybody in the room when we were watching it was like, "Of course it is."
Yeah.
What? Why are you surprised? This episode, the number one conundrum.
The Tsuranga was the name of the ship.
Was it? Because
I said that.
How many times did they say that? Because
once,
right?
Believe, once.
Okay.
They said, "Oh yeah, this because they were talking about Tsuranga before."
Right. Was that
and
the
then
plan?
the Doctor was like, "I recognize Tsuranga."
Yeah.
And trying to find out that was a ship. It might have been the company as well. I forget the medical company. Anyway.
I find it. This is a episode season wide thing, maybe even TV wide. I find it very hard to hear what people are saying in TV. It's a combination of deafness on my part, actors whispering, the audio mix.
Yeah, although I feel like this series of Doctor Who is a lot better because the music's a bit in the background.
Yes.
It's not in your face.
People.
Murray Goldtwo had a huge problem with not being able to fucking hear the dialogue.
I don't remember not being able to hear the dialogue in past. Oh, maybe I do. Maybe I'm misremembering.
Doctor Who was sort of it wasn't one of the worst offenders, but
if you can't, I just watch things with subs now, Netflix, YouTube if I can, subs
no
everywhere.
Not to use subtitles, they're great. You can
it helps.
There's a few things in comedy sort of ruins the joke.
But you can see it coming, but in stuff like sci-fi when people are just saying number one all the time, it's a huge help.
Yeah.
I wish I'd watched that because there was a few things that when the Doctor said a few things, I missed them because she was just saying.
Yeah, there was a few nonsensical terms as well.
Yeah, which didn't help.
Especially with the diseases that we'll get into.
We'll get into these. You should list off what happens, but we should probably say up front that this episode basically Stitch happens.
Yeah.
Which I didn't.
Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
An experiment. There's a semi-comedy alien, which is the first time we've kind of got one of these in the series. But
I really enjoyed the comedy alien. I don't know if I liked the plot around it, but I liked the animation and the design.
The episode starts. They're just on a comedy junk planet trying to find a thing. Did they ever explain what they were actually looking for?
I don't know because I missed at least the first 3 minutes because we were watching.
Did you see any of the junk planet?
I saw the junk planet. The junk planet looked great. That was a great junk heap they were on or green screened onto. It looked amazing. I missed the reason why they were there or what they were saying
I
because
feel like they didn't explain. They were looking for something and they had these metal detectors and then Graham's went off, but then it was a sonic mine.
It was a sonic mine. I was there when the sonic mine happened. We missed the first 5 minutes because we were watching some epic Fortnite shenanigans, which I feel bad about. But then, I turned it on and it was just it was fine.
You'll miss the opening titles.
Yep, I think I saw them though. Because I saw the Doctor get hit by a sonic mine and then they woke up in a hospital.
They did wake up in a hospital.
Is that Miranda's husband? There was a guy, a male Doctor, and he had a beard. And he's that actor that I always think is Miranda's, or is he Lucifer in the current, or at least semi-current Lucifer TV show?
His name was Astos, the character.
Astos.
He was sort of being he was treating the Doctor at first, and then he was kind of he's bossing her about. Like the Doctor didn't like that.
No, well, the Doctor woke up because the sonic mind discombobulated them or whatever, but they were fine.
They were fine
Because
like,
they received immediate medical aid.
The Doctor seemed to have the most pain out of all
Doctor
of them. Like,
had the most pain and was the last one to get up.
Yeah.
Bradley Walsh got up before the Doc. Bradley Walsh explained to the Doc what was going on.
There was Bradley Walsh, and also there was absolutely no lines of dialogue from Ryan or Yaz about how they'd just been exploded by a sonic mine.
There was no
line.
line.
Because they didn't. Like Ryan had one line on the Junk Planet maybe, and after that they did not speak for 15 minutes. I cannot stress this enough.
When Ryan said something, I shouted at the screen. I was like, "And Ryan's got a line!"
Yeah,
and we looked at the watch, and it was like 17 minutes past the hour.
Noticeably, how Ryan and Yaz just had nothing to say for the first third of the episode.
I was hoping that it would be a whole thing, and like it was maybe their actors were on holiday that week. Like they put in the effort to get like establishing shots of them being there or whatever, but then they just weren't.
There was many scenes in that opening half they just weren't in.
Just very weird. It's a problem. Like it's a genuine problem that they have.
They're companions, and they got exploded by a sonic mine, and they had like nothing to say about it.
No, nothing to say. They had nothing much to say about time travel in the Rosette or like space.
Like they're really like low key about them being space and time travelers.
Yeah, like they like it, and like Bradley Walsh was concerned or showed concern that the TARDIS was separated from them, so they kind of like elaborate.
I kind of like how the Doctor was worried that she was going to lose the ship. So it was like
I don't know. I
mean, considering all the shit that the TARDIS has been through, it didn't seem like that much of a big deal.
It doesn't, of course. Like, and also like you'll find your TARDIS again.
Yeah.
Like, it's in the same time period as you, and there's spaceships. Also, we as viewers know that you're not going to lose the TARDIS because you did that at the start of the season, and if you did that again,
it just literally just came to her.
Yeah. Like it came, like you whistled and it came. Like
it's fine. I guess we could do like comedy space pirates.
I was hoping for Space Banditos. I thought that might be the thing, and I quite like going in blind to these episodes because I don't know if Stitch was spoiled ahead of time for anyone, but that was a good like surprise when that happened.
I'd heard about we should. So they were treated. The Doctor still didn't see. I think it got one of her organs. Like
she's an alien, so she reacts differently to sonic mines.
So they were trying to like leave the place they were because they didn't know it was a ship yet. And they're like, "Oh, this place is horribly signposted."
Yeah. There was a lot of like walking in onto the other characters, and there's like a general and her brother and a robot.
Yeah.
And the robot, I think it's called Ronan.
Yeah.
And he's like a standard replicant-looking guy, like from Alien.
And he had to go get her
adrenaline blockers, because that's one of the subplots. But the robot I quite liked. He's a lot more characterful than humans.
Yeah, there's a Scottish nurse who just had some. Like,
Scottish nurse was fine.
Like her line, she was fine.
Yeah, but like the robot like brought into focus for me like Chibnall's writing, because like he was like being jokingly robotic in his like delivery and his dialogue, and I thought that quite worked. But then a lot of people around him, the humans, weren't that more emotional or like emotive.
No.
Like I liked him and his like stunted dialogue a lot more than like any line from Ryan this episode. Also, like if this was 2006, Ronan would have been played by like a Blue Peter presenter, I want to say. Like he's exactly like, you look at him and that's the role.
Yeah. When they're walking about the ship trying to find the exit, they come across a pregnant man.
A pregnant man.
I forgot the name of this pregnant man.
No, Ginger Man.
Pregnant.
Very much pregnant. I thought like for the joke, or like at least the concept of a pregnant man, they got a lot of mileage out of it.
They did. There was many jokes.
There was a fine stage or like progression to the jokes, because it was like, haha, he's a pregnant man. It's the future. That's fine. Haha. And then there was like it was another guy or something. Like he didn't mention it was a woman, so like he was like ambiguous about who the other parent was.
Did they not say there was I forget the.
He said a line about how like he didn't use protection.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, that's absolutely what it was.
And then there was a whole thing about how men give birth to men and women give birth to women.
If I remember correctly, there was a line where like Ryan thought that like men gave birth to men, or like what was it?
No,
like, Ryan had a dumb line.
Ryan was like, "Is it a boy or a girl?" Or one of them did, and they're like, "What do you mean? It's obviously a boy because boys give birth to boys."
Yeah.
And then like, "Oh, not where I come from, hey."
Yeah.
And then like, "Oh, that's disgusting," for some reason. Like that would somehow change the process. Like it's a weird feature, but that's at least I thought like the world building was quite good for at least this little contained episode, and it had a lot of like spaciness. We'll get to that at the end with like the space chanting, but like for the pregnant man thing, and the other thing was the pregnant man was only pregnant for like a
3
week.
days,
Yeah,
yeah.
3 days. That was fun, and then there was vague hints of like sinisterness, or at least vague future sinisterness, because he was going to give the baby away
Oh,
because
yeah,
like
yeah,
it was
yeah.
dark times in the galaxy.
Yeah, that's just
you
like,
know?
there seems to be like lots of like weird lines that try to like map it to today.
Yeah, alright, that's what sci-fi is,
Yeah.
and like that's kind of what this season's being. But
Yeah.
I feel like horrible people on the internet will take a lot of like, because they'll be, oh, pregnant man, they're just pushing their agendas on us. But like that was like 5 minutes of the episode, and they'll say that for every episode this season because they're like,
Yeah.
oh, like this anti-Trump character who was like 5 minutes of last
And then
episode.
there was a sort of a reason why they had a pregnant man in the episode. 'Cause,
Was there a reason he was just there? Like it was a
well,
hospital.
yeah,
ship.
but that allowed for some character development.
Oh yeah.
Ryan
I
there.
forgot that his entire purpose was to give Ryan character
Yeah.
development because his dad abandoned him.
Yeah.
Because and like we can just talk about this now because it felt really weird. Didn't he like insinuate that his dad left because Ryan looks like his mum? Like that was a line of dialogue. I don't know if you saw.
I didn't get that. Like what I got is there was a sort of semi out of place scene where Yaz asked
Ryan.
how his mum had died, and then we found out
She had a heart attack on
she
the
had a
phone.
heart attack.
Which I'm
while
sure will
doing
come
the
up.
washing. I
Was it the
believe.
washing?
Yeah, it was the washing. And
Man.
Ryan found her. And then after that, I'm sure they sort of said that like Ryan's dad couldn't like handle.
He couldn't handle
He
it.
couldn't handle it. Like he couldn't handle being a dad.
Ryan
alone.
specifically said that he looked like his mum, and that was like too much for his dad.
I didn't get that. I'll need to look back on that.
It's a
I
weird
quite like
thing.
that scene, but like
I
it
kind of like.
felt kind of out of place.
Oh, it's very like heavy-handed and
Yeah.
like clunky, and like at least like everything that they've done so far in the season is like at least they're doing it. Is what I feel about it. At least they're like talking about racism and talking about like
Bad
bad dads.
Although it's not
And
particularly groundbreaking because
it's not groundbreaking.
Rose had the exact same plot.
I mean,
Rose's dad wasn't bad. It was
No, Rose's dad died.
Yeah,
He got hit by a car. He was just like a Del Boy character. I mean, Rose like thought he was better than he was, but then that was kind of grounds for comedy when she met him.
Yeah.
But like, it's not like groundbreaking. But like, I guess at a certain point, it is a kids show. Like,
Yeah.
and I don't like saying that about Doctor Who, and I know I could break that out when I want to defend it and say, oh, it's just a kids show. But it was on at just like 6 or whatever there, 7.
7. But yeah.
So at least they're trying with stuff.
Yeah.
But goodness, it's clunky. Like every single like line that they have, even if it's like a good line or a good joke or like even a good bit of world building, it's very much like this thing is happening.
Yeah, like they'll do a good bit of world building and then they'll repeat it. Like,
Yes, that's your pet peeve. Like they'll say a thing and then Bradley Walsh will say the same thing.
It's almost as if like, these sci-fi agnostic general audiences won't understand their sci-fi unless
there was a specific
known
scene.
like proper lad Bradley Walsh repeats it.
Well, they were like, someone was like, I've got cameras in my eyes, basically. And then like they were like, what? And then like Bradley Walsh was like, oh yeah, classic cameras in the eyes, yeah. Like he was clearly like the dad, like
Yeah.
surrogate, and like that's his character, and that's fine.
It's literally like they introduce like Bradley Walsh doing that line whenever there's a point in the script where someone goes, "Oh, you're down, understand?"
Yeah,
that.
pretty much. But like Yaz was there to do the same job because they were like, I've got cameras in my eyes, and she was like, oh, that's like a posh version of my like suit cam because I'm a policeman.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a problem of having too many companions. We should talk about that because like watching this episode kind of makes me feel like the Doctor doesn't need companions at all because the Doctor can just rock up into a situation.
Yeah, so after they discover that they're on the ship, like the Doctor kind of goes away with like the Doctor who treated her, and then they sort of uncover that there's like a thing on the ship,
some sort of alien threat.
Yep.
Came through the shields and it's like in the
Yeah,
bulkheads.
because they're on like an automated medical ship, like that's going to take them back to resus.
2 crew. There was 2
Remote
escape
crew,
pods.
2 escape pods, and they sort of have all this exposition about the ship when
Yeah.
the Doctor's with this.
There's a lot of
Doctor.
exposition.
Yeah, there's a lot of
I
exposition.
thought it came off a little bit better, and I kind of when it's like a sci-fi plot in progress, I kind of don't mind as much because you kind of have to explain
I
what's
wasn't
going
particularly
on.
fond of those scenes, but what I was going to bring up about them is I feel like I preferred the Doctor being the Doctor when she wasn't with her own companions.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like she was doing more Doctor-y things. Like I don't know what it was. Like if she was
there
with
was a scene-
Ryan or Yaz, it would have like she would have been patronising a little bit. Like, oh, you work it out.
Well, there's a scene where
But she was doing like proper doctory stuff there.
I think there was like a mission statement scene where she went away with that doctor because she was like still disorientated from the sonic bomb and like clutching her sides, and I feel like she mentions her spleen at one point, or like
it was like
a time.
It was a
spleen.
comedy.
Yeah,
doctor organ.
like a Zoidberg organ,
Yeah.
basically. And like, I'm not really going anywhere with this, but I want to talk about it. They talked, and she was like, "No, I have to get back to my TARDIS." Like, oh, there might be space banditos out there because it's a scavenger planet, and they'll scavenge my TARDIS. And no, we're turning this ship around. I'm going to use my Sonic. And like the other Doctor, who I don't think was a particularly great character.
No,
but
he was just there. Like, it's because he was so bland that the Doctor got something to do.
Yeah, but like the blind man was like trying to explain to her the situation, and then she was like, "No, we're doing this." And it was like another scene where, like, if it was another Doctor, the Doctor would have turned the ship around.
Yeah.
And, like, Matt Smith would have had a thing to say. Or Capaldi would have just been like, "No, we're turning this ship around. Like, we'll deal with the plot, but we're also turning it around." And then the man explained that, no, this is a medical ship and there's people in, like, urgent need of, like, care. And the Doctor kind of, like, goes, "All right, you're right, yeah, I was being selfish." And, like, I like it, but it also doesn't... Like, it does make the Doctor come off well, but kind of doesn't in the context of the season, because there's so many bits where the Doctor doesn't get to do or impact things.
Like, she just goes along with things a lot of the time.
And like, that's a mission statement thing from Chinmal, it looks like, in this season, because she's much more of a human character and much more of a flawed
Very
character.
much so.
And very, like, kind of socially awkward, I guess, we got from last week.
Yeah.
And that's fine, and the Doctors all should be different personalities and whatever.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It just doesn't come off great when, like, other Doctors would have handled the situation.
Yeah, in a possibly much better way than,
And it won't be that much of a problem if other Doctors in the future, like, if this is a precedent to set, and, like, because I don't like God Mode Doctor, and I know every week I'm trying to defend God Mode Doctor, it's just weird when you have precedent. And, like, you're sitting there being like, this is a good story, and that is a good moment for the Doctor, being like, yeah, there's people in danger, like, I shouldn't be selfish. And it's fine, we're in space, I'll just get another spaceship back or a teleport. But in that moment, it's like, this bland man has just, like, verbally one-upped the Doctor and explained the situation, and, like, what?
Yeah, so then they split up to go and search because they realise there's another ship, so they need to go split up to look for clues.
That man was
escape
dead
pods.
the second they split up.
Yeah, so, but did you hear, like, they gave them, like, a communication device, and I am 99.9%
Condoms. It was a condoms, yeah.
Like, what?
It was another thing put into their neck. Like
Chibnall
Chibnall.
really loves putting, like, things on necks, and then he called it a condom.
I was talking to my girlfriend about this, and I was like, did they just call it a condom?
I was like, what? Like,
it was a funny joke, but it was such like a quick
it was so quick.
and unhearable thing. Like, why did you put it, like, were you trying to get it past people? Like, I mean, I guess I don't want the Doctor to be like, a condom, like, and like go on about it, but yeah, that man, that was another problem, because that man was dead the second that they split up and looked for clues. And I was just thinking about it while it was happening, and like, you've got like 18 other companions on this ship. See if you put one of your named characters, see if it was Bradley Walsh and the Doctor, and then split up, and it was like Bradley Walsh in danger of dying.
Bradley Walsh would have died.
Bradley Walsh would have died, and that would have been something to talk about. Would have been like, oh my god, they just killed Bradley Walsh, and then Stitch murdered Bradley Walsh. And like, I don't want Bradley Walsh to die, I want Bradley Walsh to carry on being Bradley Walsh, but
I don't even, like, it would be mortally bad that without Bradley Walsh, I don't even know what the show would be.
But if they thinned down the herd of companions, maybe other people would have something to do.
Maybe they could kill off Yaz.
I know it's not the tone, I know it's like a fun space adventure show, but like, just while that guy was like walking about looking at the escape pod, it's like, this man's gonna die, this man's gonna die, this man's gonna die, when is this man gonna die? Oh look, this man's died. Like,
the Doctor's escape pod was gone, and then he stupidly goes in
he
the other
stupidly,
one.
and I was like, what are you doing? You've just been tricked into a pod, and like, I thought it was going to be fine. I thought from like his speech, because he gave the other Doctor a speech, and he was quite nice, and he was like, yeah, you're a cool other Doctor, you can do this, like, I believe in you. It was quite, like, again, heavy-handed and not well written, but I thought it was a cool thing for the character to say. And then he just dies in the escape pod. It looked like the escape pod got jettisoned and then like went into the engines.
Yeah.
What? Who designed that? Like, I
Why
thought,
did it not just do it? Like, was it because fucking Stitch?
did Stitch
Like,
wreck
Stitch
it in
was,
such
like,
a way?
We hadn't seen Stitch yet. So
Yeah.
you could hear it like thinking about and affecting the.
You're meant to think it's like a xenomorph
There's only
alien
like
thing.
in the computer that did the route scheduling.
Yeah. And later in the episode, we find out they didn't want to kill people; they just wanted to eat energy. So
But he seemed to want to kill people. It
I
was
mean,
admittedly
yeah.
a byproduct, but it seems like he did. Like, he could have eaten anything on that ship.
Yeah.
But no, he was eating the escape pods.
Yeah, like at the start of the adventure when they needed those escape pods.
On this massive ship, he gravitated towards the escape
I guess
pod.
maybe those escape pods had little engines in
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
But
yeah.
like he didn't eat those engines, he just ate the thing that let the pod pop, which would have been like restraining bolt. We shouldn't get that deep into
No.
like the deep space lore. But and about this bland man that we couldn't care anything else about. But Stitch looked cool.
Yeah, the CG was quite good.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
It was maybe because it was a small thing. Does that make sense? That it was
Yeah,
like
would be
condensed
weird,
into.
yeah. It was weird because like
He looked like Stitch crossed with those old ads for like toilet bleach with the germs on the seat that like looked really good CGI for like 2004.
yeah.
That's what, and it also kind of had a bit of pug in it as well, like
Yeah.
a pug butt. It felt like a very calculated thing to make people squee. Because the setup was like, it's a xenomorph out there, oh, we're doing a spaceship thing, it's going to be this horrible
Yeah,
bug
but
monster.
The setup was very much like Alien. But
Yeah, and
we
then
ended up getting like just slightly above adipose levels of villain.
but like Askweed, I thought it looked really cute. Like I thought that was a fun thing for Doctor Who to be doing.
It felt very calculated.
Very
towards
calculated.
Toyetic.
It was very toy. I would
Very
have a toy of that, and that's great. Like last week didn't have a toy. I cannot remember what last week's was, even though we've talked about it. What was it? Like the more I talk, the less I remember. Spiders. I could not see when I was walking over thinking about like what last week's was. I was like, what happened last? Was that Rosa last week? No, that was like 2 weeks ago. What was last week's?
This week's episode was a lot better than last week.
Yes, this was very. It was like contained. It looked good. The sets looked good.
Yeah.
Like the characters weren't great, but they were kind of memorable.
Yeah, like we should get back to the other subplot because like the general's brother is trying to hack into the medical records because he's aware something's up, and then we get like a sort of bizarre scene with Graham where he's being inquisitive about it for some reason. Like I don't particularly know why.
Because he's a dad and he's like keeping an eye.
Like, are you sure you should be doing that? Like he's just keeping an eye on everyone.
He's keeping an eye on it, and like there's a space general who is like a impulse pilot. I feel like she says they set that up quite early, and then her brother who's like a mechanic, and the brother is like a little brother I guess, and he's very like, oh, my big sister doesn't like, she's a big space hero and she doesn't like treat me well because she looks down on me because I'm just a mechanic, and she won't even tell me what's wrong with her because she says she's got cotton lung or something, but actually I suspect it to be something else because she's taking adrenaline blockers, and like I thought the brother wasn't great. Like I liked Ronan the most out of that.
There was too many characters.
There was far every time.
Too many characters.
And even like, because like
same with last week. Last week there was just like
endless
6
characters.
or 7 characters all in the same scene.
That's kind of like a problem of last week's episodes when you're introducing like a family. And that's gonna happen. But then they introduced that Trump character and his assistants and like other people. Like that last week's was much worse for that. And like I kind of got away with it this week because it was contained, because it was like the Doctor, her companions, the bland man who gets dealt with very quickly.
There's very few scenes with all of them.
Yeah, and like the pregnant man, the other Doctor, and then they can be like combined together, and then separated from them was the space captain and her. So it didn't feel like there was that many this week compared to last, but it's still a huge problem. And like I was saying at the start of this, just if you want to do that, like if you want to do like the Doctor cuts about with loads of like guest characters, just do that. Like you
Can I
don't
just say it was such a huge problem that it was only around this point in the episode that Ryan and Yaz started having regular dialogue.
17 minutes in.
17 minutes in. Weird.
Did the
How
other
did that not get noticed? Like, did they not, like, when they were filming it, did they not go, I'm just like, I have nothing to say.
Well, like, maybe it was like, I don't know. Because, like, next week's is going to be pretty Yaz heavy. We have to assume. So maybe they were just like, you know, giving the actors a break for that week. That's like a very classic Who thing to do.
Yeah, but they were clearly there. Like, it wasn't like a companion light episode.
No, they were clearly there. And then they had stuff to do mid-episode. But, like, I would have thought that would have been a problem of, like, the writers or like the sub-writers.
The writers are like. I don't
But
know
this
how it
episode was
works.
written by
like,
Chibnall.
Does anyone like go through Chibnall scripts and go? This
No.
is crap.
No, well, no one went through Moffat scripts. Like that was his problem.
I,
Like,
don't, I feel like I don't think Moffat ever did anything that egregious where he's just like.
Oh yes, like Moffat did a lot of egregious things. Like, have you seen that Narnia episode he did? He wrote that,
That's
and
right.
that got past the
where
censor.
The companion didn't speak for 20 minutes.
No, like, but that was the thing because he was writing his characters,
Yeah.
and he clearly liked his characters. Chibnall, because Chibnall wrote this episode, didn't he?
Yeah. Again.
Again, which I kind of like. Like, I'm up for like.
This is the last Chibnall episode until the finale, we should say.
That's interesting. I would
Weird,
have just done it all. Like, just if I was going to write half of it, like.
You only have to write 4 more.
I know, and like I know it's a huge undertaking, but also like you're already halfway there. Like, just stamp your mark on Doctor Who. Like, I've just written an entire season, but like. If this was like another writer writing Chibnall's characters and they clearly don't like Yaz or Ryan, I could understand why there wasn't that much Yaz or Ryan in the episode. But this is written by Chibnall.
Yeah.
Like, he just run out of things to do with them. Like, was like last week's spider chase stuff that much that it was like, that's enough Yaz and Ryan. Like, I'll concentrate on these other people that I'm making up for an episode that we'll never see again.
I just felt like it was something they never really intended, but ended up happening. I just noticed it. And I noticed it, like, that's all I could think about for the first, like, 15 minutes.
Yeah, I was laughing at it.
We should say Stitch ate the Sheffield Steel sonic screwdriver.
Ate it. Well, that was the worst part of the episode for me because, like, she went up to it and, like, basically because she was like, they saw it eat things, and then she handed the sonic screwdriver to it, basically.
Yeah.
And I know this Doctor is very sonic heavy and will just, like, wave or sonic at anything. That's fine, I'm into that. But, like, why would you go up to the thing that eats things and give it your thing? It spat it out, and then it was fine later on, which I groaned at, because like it looked like they were like isolating the Doctor, putting her in a situation where she didn't have the Sonic to get her out of it, and then when it became necessary to have the Sonic again, they just had the Sonic regenerated. And
also, she like made the Sonic and it regenerated itself. Like, I don't
nanomachines.
Yeah.
If she had said nanomachines, we wouldn't be criticising
It was
them.
around this point that we got the horribly egregious. Oh, it's not like carnivorous. It won't eat us.
Aye.
And then Graham just repeated the exact same line of dialogue.
It won't eat us, but it'll eat the spaceship we're on, eh? Oh, that's cracking. Like, I thought this episode was fine. Like, as much as I'm going on about it, like I thought it was fine. Like, I really liked I really liked the sets and stuff. I thought the characters were fine.
They got a lot out of those corridors.
They did.
It felt like a bit like a mini version of the Enterprise from Star Trek 09.
It was very 09. It was very Mass Effect. Like, it was. Have you seen Lost in Space, the Netflix show?
No, I haven't.
It's very much that, like, not necessarily low rent, but like sets made to look nice, more like pristine white kind of stuff.
Yeah, like the next sort of thing is like they got.
What did
Ryan and Yaz talked with the pregnant man, and then that's when we got the scene we've already talked about where Ryan had his bit about his dad and pregnant his mum.
I thought, it was kind of questionable, Ryan projecting his stuff onto the new dads. Like, it was like, he's obviously got a missing dad, and the new dad's going to give up the baby because it's the space year or whatever, and you can just give up your baby to whoever because of the dark space times.
Stitch was called the Pating, by the way.
The Pating.
The Pating.
That's fine. That's absolutely what you would have called it.
Yeah.
Like, you could have called it something dumb and spacey, but Pating.
Pating.
I'll remember the Pating, or I'll remember it's a Stitch, mostly since you've said it now. Yeah, I thought it was a bit questionable, him being like, you should be a dad, you know, because, like, that's like effects in the future. Like, what if that baby could have been given away to, like, some rich space family or whatever and went on to have, like, a huge impact in the galaxy, and now he's just saddled with that dad, who I'm sure is lovely, but did Ryan think about that? Did he think about the temporal implications of his, like, dad problems?
No.
I hope his dad problems go somewhere.
Well, I guess we'll meet the dad, but that has to be a thing that'll happen.
Well, we're meeting... Spoilers for next week's episode. We didn't say spoilers at the start of this, but spoilers. We're meeting Yaz's grandmother next week. And if they keep doing that, I'd be up for that. Because like, that's something you should do with time travel, and it's something Doctor Who should do more. We always go on about Father's Day.
Yeah.
Father's Day being a banger. Like, they should do more stuff like Father's Day. Maybe bring the Reapers back.
I think, like, Father's Day being a thing is the thing that scared them off from doing it, though. Because Like they're like, oh, like people just complain that the Reapers didn't appear every time we do it.
We do that. We should do that every episode. We should have like a half an hour every podcast being like, this was a good episode, this was a great episode, but the Reapers didn't appear, so 0 out of 10.
I mean,
remember that one time that the Reapers showed up? Remember
great.
all those remember those walk-in paradoxes from Moffat's Who, like just everything that remember every time that the Doctor, met himself and it was fine.
Yeah.
Like
Like
the Reapers is such a dumb but great idea because like once you put that in your time show, you should probably mention them again.
Yep.
But then they never do because how could you? Every episode would be Reaper based. Stitch continued to eat things. There
yeah,
was
and then they basically got like a kill switch because they said, oh yeah, like the medical people were like,
Yeah.
we're gonna blow up the ship.
there was 2 ticking clocks. It's
Yeah.
either Stitch would eat everything and they would die, or the remote people back at base would blow up the ship
Yeah.
because the sensors knew that there was a Stitch on board. There's a good scene where they classified Stitch as like a chalice level threat.
Level threat. It
Yeah.
was apparently the biggest threat.
Bigger than not
What was
avocado or what was it? It was something.
No, they're avocado.
Avocado came later.
Oh
but
no.
I don't like all of the millennial see anytime they do a reference, it's cringe inducing. Last week when we were talking about Ed Sheeran,
Yeah.
it wasn't that bad, but when you talk about avocado and that line of dialogue, that whole thing about like the dad has his baby eventually and it's fine, and then he's like, I'm gonna name it after Earth's great hero, Avocado, and like Ryan and Graham are like, what?
Can't handle
You
it.
can't like what avocado? It's a fruit or a vegetable. Like no, like name it after us, and like that joke is interchangeable because they could have said any word there. See, like they could have said, I can't think of examples, but like no matter what year this episode came out, and they could have switched that to be like the Great Earth Hero, like I don't know, dank memes, like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
I do.
it's not good.
Eventually, their focus turns on to protecting the ship's antimatter drive.
Yeah, it's like
'Cause
spirally
Stitch is
light
gonna
bulb.
Yeah, which led us to my favourite scene that Jodie Whittaker's Doctors have. It was like they had like a super sciencey bit where she explained how the antimatter drive worked, and I thought it was really, really good. Like she sort of got into her mojo a little bit, and then she had like a little bit where she was like, I love it, like conceptually, like actually.
My
I
girlfriend-
really liked that bit.
At that moment asked me, why is this scene happening? Because that was a good moment for her, but it was like a First Doctor, we are
Explain
teaching
science,
science. Like, and it was just a
Because
like,
they had all those lines of dialogue about how it was basically like a small, large hadron collider.
yeah, like the CERN,
It's
and
like the iPhone of
yeah, the iPhone of that.
collider tech.
And like, I liked the brothers line down because he was like, oh yeah, this is really old fashioned, or like this is like a classic design or whatever.
Yeah.
Like implying for wherever he's from, it's not that great. That's a good Doctor Who moment. Like I liked the First Doctor we're teaching science moment, and I like that they keep doing them. Like it's not
It's
as
clearly a stylistic choice they've made at this point.
yeah. Well, they've got their Ian and Barbara,
Yeah.
who is both Ian and Barbara, who are both Bradley Walsh. He's filling both roles. Like he watches Call the Midwife.
He's got bus powers.
He's got bus powers, and he's questionable about
No
most
bus
things
powers.
that happen.
No bus
Well,
powers this
no,
week,
they're on
so-
like an ambulance this week, so they didn't have anything to say or
No.
do really with buses. I'm sure maybe next week when they get to India, is like famous Indian buses that you'll like have a crack about, or is it India? I might be massively racist.
There's the Punjab,
Yeah.
so you have it, Pakistan, like it was
I don't.
well, it was pre-partition, so it was India.
Right,
Like,
I don't know anything about history there.
Well,
or, I'm sure I'll learn about it next week because they
so
are.
there used to be all of India, and then eventually they split. Like they partitioned India because they partitioned the Muslim areas and the
Was
Hindu
this
areas.
because I know it was like British colony?
And then Pakistan became the Muslim territory, and
right.
so it's likely what would have been India at that point, but became Pakistan would be my guess.
I was quite impressed by the trailer because when I heard that title in the summary, I was expecting it to be kind of like, if it was a Moffat episode, it'd be very like white British upper class. If it was a Mark Gatiss thing, like red coat kind of
Ice warriors
troopers,
in it.
that would make it better. Well, there's gonna be demons apparently.
Unit would turn up in the Punjab.
There's the comic shop here has a Mark Gatiss written Third Doctor novel, and it's called like Last of the Grenadine or something, and I need to own it. Like I'm sure it's everything that he loves.
Unit will be in it.
Oh aye, like if they aren't, like I'll be phoning them. Like what? how are you Mark Gatiss and you've written a Third Doctor epic, and it doesn't? It's like a space Third Doctor thing where he's just like on a planet with a companion. No, I couldn't handle that. I want Mark Gatiss to write more episodes.
Yeah, so they were like protecting the antimatter drive. Ryan and Graham had to be birth partners.
They
The
did.
episode sort of fizzled out a bit at this point.
That is a problem with the season. They take the bomb.
I quite like how they resolved the plot, but it sort of lost a lot of its energy.
Well, there was a lot of things happening because there was the birth thing.
Yeah.
There was the bomb that was under the antimatter drive, and then like the Doctor gave Yaz a quilt that was like a sterilizer quilt because it had been established earlier that Stitch is highly toxic to most life forms. I don't think you had to give it that, really. That didn't really add in the episode.
No.
Like, they had a robot, and they had, like, a line of dialogue being like, no, you should go help robot because you won't be, like, contaminated by the toxic thing. But then the robot guy never goes and, like, picks up Stitch and, like, puts it in a corner. That was just kind of wasted dialogue and time. And there was that other scene where, like, the other Doctor was like, oh, you can't be in this room. And, like, the Doctor was like, no, your bland friend already, like, let me in here, it's fine. I was like, oh, that's weird. That's very functional, but, like, just don't say that and do that. That was a weird beep. Did you hear that beep?
I did.
That's questionable.
Very excited.
An outsider beep. There was an ambulance last time I was doing a podcast, and it's not that bad. Yaz punts Stitch at one point.
There was like a football joke I didn't quite catch.
No, there was just words and noise happening, and I didn't know what it was. They caught the thing because they had stasers, and it looked like a combination of like a Mysteron Captain Scarlet gun camera thing and proton packs.
Yeah.
And they like proton packed Stitch to the
They
ground.
held them in like they were two-handed.
Yeah.
Sort of weird.
They were called stasers, and like so when they mentioned them, they were like, "Oh, we've got a couple of stasers on board." And I was like, "Doctor, that's a gun.
Yeah.
You hate guns.
I know.
Are you going to let this pass?" And then Doctor didn't say anything about it, and I was like, "I guess it's a staser, like a stun taser or whatever. So that's fine. It's still a projectile weapon. I guess not even projectile beam weapon, but like." It was a weird scene for the Doctor who hates guns.
It was.
And then they tase Stitch, and then they just blanket him up, and then like Yaz. Well, no, Yaz runs with him for a bit to get him away from the drive, but presumably not that far away from the drive because it only went like a cut, like a transition cut. And then I didn't even notice she did like a football joke. All I saw was.
Sure she did a football joke.
All I noticed was like some noise, and then for some reason, she punted him. Like, just kicked him down a corridor. Not even into, like, a room.
Not that far.
Not that far. And then it was fine for a good chunk of the episode. And then there was a whole thing where they were going to get blown up by... Because, like, there's loads of plots going on when we talk about it. Like, it didn't feel that complex when we watched it.
Yeah,
but
there's the pregnancy, the Stitch, and then the illness plot, which we're getting more of. Because initially it was, like, cotton fever or something.
Cotton.
But then we discovered she has pilot's heart.
She's got pilot heart. Well, that's very much like a sci-fi tropey kind of thing of like plugging pilots into like the mech or plugging them into the ship.
I wish they had explained that.
Yeah, well, it was them. It was Doctor Who doing that trope, but like at tea time, so they couldn't get into like this has deformed me being a pilot, or this is plugged into my very like.
It gave her heart problems.
Yeah, like that was the least grim thing that could have happened. It wasn't that my brain explodes or anything, or I've got like a tumor because like I've been plugged into too many spaceships. But like,
that reminded I was a bit worried for Graham when they got Sonic Mind, because they said it affected your organs. Or Graham had cancer.
I'm sure his cancer is now reactivated, like via
possibly.
Sonic. He seemed fine. He was up before the Doctor, and like the brother rigs up like a wee pilot's thing so that the captain can pilot the ship because VR like standing up, but he somehow like rigs up like shoes, which I laughed at, like a wee kind of shoe harness thing for her to stand in, and then like a wee kind of cap, and then like I liked all that, but it wasn't really impactful. Like it was just a thing that happened. It killed her. She got her pilot's heart, and like one too many spaceships, and like. I could have done without those characters, basically. That was probably the one I would cut.
That was probably the one they cut. The pregnancy thing was only existed for that one Ryan character moment, which is fine, but...
You've got like three things, right? You've got three plots. You could give those three plots to the companions.
Yeah. There's like a lot of tonal stuff.
There was a lot of tonal stuff, because it was like immediately like, oh, it's a spooky xenomorph aliens thing, but nah, it's Stitch. But he did just kill that guy.
And here's a comedy man.
He's
pregnant
yeah.
man, like.
But like, there's dark times in the galaxy, so he's gonna have to give away his baby, and like, but it's also very bright and shiny and happy, and like, did the Doctor make a Hamilton reference at one point?
Possibly.
She talked about someone in Hamilton and something to do
Oh
with
yeah,
casts.
Alexander. Yeah, it's like watched all over. Like it was like the Doc making like a pop culture reference, but it wasn't like known culture. It just seemed to be like.
Well, maybe that is a thing because I didn't know if it was.
It might have been. Was it Harrison? It might have been some guy from the past. It was just the.
Or was it? Because
Cast.
cast, yeah, like is Hamilton? I thought it was a play. Like I don't know anything about that.
Well,
so.
Hamilton's one of like founders.
I thought it was like a South Park people thing that they made like a play. Like isn't
No,
it?
Hamilton's not that. It's like another play about like the foundation of the United States.
Isn't it the South Park people though? Isn't it?
No, that's Book of Mormon.
Oh, there we go. That's why I'm getting confused. Okay, that makes a lot more sense when people have been talking about Hamilton forever. That was one of those. You see, after like Breaking Bad, and then people started talking about like the same thing over and over. It was Hamilton for a while. And I just didn't understand it, and I was like, "Oh, is that South Park thing?"
Yeah, I can see. They're
Yeah.
both, I feel like Book of Mormon was the big musical of for like 4 years, and then Hamilton happened, and now it'll be
Weird
now
that it's
it's
both
turned
Mormon
musical.
based, I guess, but
I
or not.
Hamilton is-
I don't know why I keep thinking it's Mormon based, but like, why do I think it's Mormon based?
I think it's just in your head. Like all musicals are Mormon.
All musicals are Mormon. If we go back and look at it, all musicals are Mormons. Or
Is
Mormons
it
are
because you
musicals.
watched that Mormon video?
I don't think we can talk about that Mormon video. I still don't believe that Mormon video. I think it's probably an Adult Swim thing. You know how they just put out like things and don't like give any
Absolutely.
context. Don't look for that video, people. This episode, I didn't think we could talk about it for this long, really, because when I watched it, I was like, that was fine.
That was fine.
That was
They said to
inoffensive.
me, the resolution of the plot was they got Stitch to eat the bomb. And then
I really
jettisoned
liked their
it.
follow through on that, because, well, I didn't, because I suppose it's fine, because they put him in a little wee cubicle,
Yeah.
and they put the bomb in there, and there was some patter about 51 seconds, and bomb crack, you know?
It's probably the best plot resolution you've done.
That's not saying much.
No. But considering last week's.
He ate the bomb, and I really liked that he ate the bomb and it was fine. Like, it exploded inside him like a Looney Tunes character.
Yeah. There's
And
like a good like close up shot.
There's
of
a
him
great
where
close up.
"Hey,
He's like,
hey!"
yeah, I've got all the energy, I'm happy. I feel like that would have worked better if the thing wasn't as antagonistic and more like Stitch, and you kind of liked him more than this. He looks
like,
really
we're meant to
cute.
feel sorry for it. 'cause
No,
it's just gonna be fine.
no,
Will
no.
it be back in a future episode?
Maybe. Yeah, it's very memorable. Like, I could see it cutting about the background. RTD, if it was like a suit alien, he'd have it walking through a bar at one point. But it explodes inside him, and it's fine because they established at the start of the episode when they did the scan or the chalice threat level thing that it was indestructible. And I thought once they did the bomb thing, he'd just explode into space or whatever. But no, it's fine. Like, he's indestructible for some reason.
He wanted to eat the bomb because it was like good sustenance.
Good dark matter, antimatter substance, keep him going, you know, like he'll...
There was a line about how the doctor said that would keep him going for years.
Yeah. The doctor
Or
said,
what?
get a shift on again, which I guess is her catchphrase. It was very quiet. She whispered it when he was trying to like go into the thing. I wish that the doctor wasn't as confused by everything that happens.
She was less confused in this episode.
She was, but she still has a
She had more
permanent
of a-
expression of confusion.
She had more of a like handle on what was going on, and she like led characters
Aye.
through things this time, which I feel like she's not necessarily done.
She needs to be more like that scene you were talking about where she was happy about the antimatter.
Yeah,
Like, if she was like that all the
yeah,
time.
Like, I really like that was like her maybe her finest moment as the doctor. Like
Mhm.
she just had a really good moment.
Yeah. They've been trying to stab at that for a few episodes,
Yeah.
but like, that was kind of clear and precise.
Exactly.
It fizzles out after they deal with the Stitch alien. He just gets jettisoned into space and he floats away happy.
He has the baby.
He has the baby. He calls it avocado. No one laughs. The space captain dies, and like there's a scene where her brother's like, "What will happen to you now, robot?" And the robot's like, "Well, that's my function
That's
fulfilled.
I'm
Shut
done.
down." And like I thought they were just gonna be like, "You're my pal. You can cut along with me." But no, he's just like,
He
"All
did
right."
like a space prayer at the end.
Yeah.
That the doctor knew.
Yeah, well, there was a great bit of stuff at the start where they were talking about like the space pilot, the space captain. And she was like, "Oh, you're in the book of blah 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 blah."
Yeah, I forgot about that. It was like a whole volume about the doctor.
I thought Howard going back and say because like, "Oh, you're in there too, aren't you, Doctor?" There's a couple
considering
pages.
she's not an egocentric doctor.
Yeah.
That's quite an egocentric.
Yeah,
moment.
it was a weird like. 'cause-
Yeah, and she didn't
We commented about how she was humble when she left the room.
Yeah.
And then she just came back and said, it's actually the whole volume,
Like
actually, if you want to
her
know.
companions weren't there. It was almost
Yeah.
like she's like, oh, I can't be. I need to be humble for my companions.
For great
These
Yans
other
and Ryan.
chumps.
These people that are about to die, we'll never see again. Bye.
No TARDIS in this episode.
No TARDIS, which I've been on the wiki a lot, and like they love pointing because there's only like 10 episodes where the TARDIS doesn't appear. So
the TARDIS, you saw the outside of it.
oh well, then that one, that will not
But
make the list.
You never saw the TARDIS in two.
I think is two of them. No, like the most recent one being the Woman Who Fell to Earth is it, but it's stuff like is it Midnight? You don't see it. I feel like you don't see it.
Do they land in Midnight?
No, because I can't remember. I should have had the list.
Midnight, they're on that resort. So they might start.
I think they start. I think they're at a pool, and like, the doctor's like, "I'm going on a bus trip," and like Donna's like, "I'm going to stay at the beach pool resort thing, yeah, the spa," and he's like, "All right, suit yourself, but I'm going on this bus."
I watched a bit of the Fires of Pompeii this morning.
Why?
Because I was like fiddling through my iPad and I just saw that it was on there, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch like Capaldi and Karen Gillan.
Oh yeah.
And they're just in it.
It's a pillar, isn't it? Like it's a pillar of New Who. It's like an intersection of all these things.
Yeah.
There's probably yet further companions to come and
The
doctors
main
to be.
reason I remember it is because like the doctor's like, I'm gonna let them all fucking die.
Well,
And
yes.
Donna can't handle it, and then they save my family.
But that's like a time travel thing. Like he has to let them all die, or like there's no show.
Yeah.
Because I say it like that, but like I'm of two minds because a lot of the time when stuff like that happens, I'm going to compare it to Peter Parker here, right?
Okay.
See in Dan Slott's Spider-Man,
Yeah.
Peter Parker basically grows up and like he's like a tech CEO, becomes Iron Man,
Yeah.
and like he has his own company, and it's kind of later.
Like
Dan
this is
Slott
why
stuff.
when people complain about why doesn't he just like do sciencey stuff and become insanely rich?
Yeah.
Point them to Dan Slott.
Well, he did,
Spider-Man.
and people hated that because people. When it's a thing, when it's like an established franchise,
I agree. I do not like it. Like
Yeah.
I much prefer Peter Parker not having any money. Like just be
Yeah.
a photographer.
like you want it to be a photographer for the Bugle,
Yeah.
not having any money, be down on his luck. But like that's like anti-progression.
I
Like,
agree,
that's like-
but
like-
Peter Parker is not as good a character when he's.
I know what you mean, but like also it's like it's against the format of comics and
Yeah.
stuff in general because like things progress and you like when things progress. If it was just him never experience anything or never getting any development, you wouldn't read those comics because it'd just be a generic, boring, bland,
Yeah.
kiddie thing. It would be like those like comics you get in like Tesco's. That's like the latest Spider-Man thing. It's just he fights the Vulture and then everything. They laugh at the end. But like my point here is, people hate like progression. They hate that like, but like Peter Parker would grow up and become he made those web shooters when he was like 15.
Yeah, exactly.
Like everything about his progression, he would do those things. I don't know why I mentioned that. I think it's to do with the Pompeii thing. Like, if the Doctor could just save everyone in Pompeii, but it would interfere with the TV show nature of it because people need it to be real. They need it to be like, I know how Pompeii happened. Like, you couldn't just have the Doctor Who, in the universe of Doctor Who, all the catastrophes that ever happened didn't happen because the Doctor could just save them.
It's
So-
fantastic going back now and how cheap the initial RTD era looked like.
You reminded
Although
me.
I think that episode was filmed in like
2007 probably.
Yeah,
2008.
but they filmed it in Rome. They had like
Yeah, it was one of their
they had,
holiday
like,
episodes.
Studios for like what was that show at the time?
Oh,
Rome.
Was it Rome or was it?
Rome? Was
was
there
it
actually
Rome?
a show called Rome?
I feel like it was called Rome.
Yeah, I think that's where they filmed the Fires of Pompeii episode. Like they filmed it in the studios of that.
That's
show.
great. They
Yeah.
did that once this season. They went to South Africa, didn't they, this year
Yeah.
for
Well,
never
I
shows.
think that might have been the first time they filmed abroad for Fires of Pompeii.
Didn't do it again for Vampires of Venice or whatever it's called.
Yeah, Moffat who started doing
Yeah.
film abroad. Like they filmed Vampires of Venice in Eastern Europe,
It's-
and then they filmed Vincent and the Doctor in Eastern Europe as well.
Did they?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
And then obviously in Moffat's second season they went to America.
They did go to America. It seems like a terrible waste of license payers' money. Like, it looks good,
no,
but like
Moffat's Who is when they started to get really, really big in America.
they did.
So that was
I don't know if that helped though. Did that help?
I don't
that they could have just had America. They had Nixon.
I think it was just like Doctor Who had some fans, and then it got
Nixon.
on. They put it on BBC America. And they promoted it.
yeah.
I think that was the main reason.
Streaming as well, and like the rise of that. At the
Yeah.
time. The Nixon's one of my favourite characters in Moffat's Who. Like Nixon's great Nixon's like likable and like portrayed quite well for being Nixon. Like Nixon, I don't know if he saves the day at one point, but he just turns up and he's like, "No, this is the Doctor. Like, don't keep him in this like black box Pandorica thing."
Yeah.
He's like, "What do you need, Doctor? I'll help you out." And like it was a weird like they never comment on the fact that you know how like Nixon's famously paranoid, but those episodes revolve around invisible people that've been watching you for your whole life, and like those are a real credible threat.
The silence with a T.
Oh, all right, the silence.
Do you remember those?
No.
The like white faced dudes.
No. What? Oh, the silence.
I feel like were they not like the silence rather than the
So that silence wouldn't fall, or I don't remember. I just remember the grey alien dudes that were the silence, weren't they? Like
maybe it was the silence. Yeah, well, it was the silence. For some reason, I had in my head there was a difference between like the silence and the silence.
no, they never really because there was that Palpatine voice that said silence will fall in the TARDIS, and then wasn't the next enemy? Weren't those greys just called the silence?
Yeah,
I get very foggy during mid to late Moffat. Like post season 1 for him, I can't really remember much.
I need to watch Moffat season 2 again.
I don't think it's very watchable. Like I don't. That was another thing.
That series had wild ideas. Like there's probably some parts of it that work and some parts of it that don't.
I feel like
there's some very good episodes in it.
I don't know.
It's nowhere near as good as the first one.
It's not consistent, and like I feel like it completely falls down in season 2. Like see the Wedding of Riversong stuff. I feel like it's all terrible. And I say that as a hater of Riversong, who's mellowed in his age. But like, still, do you remember anything about that episode where they get married?
There was pyramids.
There was pyramids, and was that the one with Churchill, who was like the Holy Roman Emperor? Was it that one, or was that a later one where he was the Holy Roman Emperor?
Well, no, there was one where it was just Churchill, and then there was the one where it was only the Holy Roman Empire was the pyramids.
Right, but like that happened, and then like the killing, let's kill Hitler, that all happened, and like.
What was
it's a vibe, and like the best part of it is when they kill the Doctor at the start, and then he comes out of the toilet.
Hitler had Amy and Rory's best friend being their daughter.
Yeah, like that's a good idea, but like if that was like foreshadowed at any point, but no, it just happens in that episode.
I think the main reason why there's the good man goes to war. That's a very good episode.
That's alright. Yeah. It's got all that flesh stuff. The flesh stuff's very boring when you actually have to sit through it. Like it's a very standard base thing, and like the whole it's got like a horrible.
What I'd be interested to see, because I watched it like week by week, and bear in mind that series had a split. I just want to watch it, binge it, and see how much better it is.
I don't know if it will be, because we binged it recently, and like I was like, oh, this. I think this season will do better. I'm pointing to the TV, everyone. This season will do better binged.
I think I might get bored binging it, because like every episode's just like.
We're complaining a lot about Yaz not having anything to do, and like characters not developing that. But like every episode, they're at least having like a thing. So I feel like that might, because like this episode you could point to like Ryan having at least something to do with the baby and that. And so like if you saw it all in a 1 hour, it might like merge into like, what are you talking about? Yaz and Ryan are totally characters.
I just can't, like, they must have known during production of this that they're like, oh, we're halfway through the series and one of our companions has had nothing to do.
Well, hopefully Yaz will die next week or something. Like
the main thing she has done is kick Stitch, punt him in the bag.
Yeah.
Like,
she has a family.
She's a police officer.
She's a police officer.
She has a family.
She's probably helped at some point. Like, I can't really remember any memorable moment she's had other than being there. And like I say, if it's not a Yaz episode next week, which it might not be, given this season's prior track record with that.
She has to. But we've said that before.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, I think we were led down. Like one of our friends said, the episode 4 is a Yasmin episode. So I think we got it in our head.
Yeah.
We did meet her
no, all the kind of production stuff around episode 4 was kind of Yaz based because it was her family.
Yeah.
And all like the photos and stuff with like the Yaz. I was going to say the Yaz and Doctor and the Yaz standing about. But then it was trumpet spiders, and I guess Ryan got the big moment of the episode with his grind music.
Grime music.
Grime, is it grime? What's
Stormzy.
It was Stormzy, which I don't know what a Stormzy is. I'm too old. You could
describe
what he is. Right.
Stormzy is younger than us.
Yeah, I can believe that. Like anybody with with a Y name, like of this generation, I can't stand people. They just. I talk about millennials, and I think about millennials like they're kind of like Power Rangers monster, like a putty patroller kind of thing. I say that as a millennial viewers, like a self-hating millennial. I thought the avocado joke was actually pretty funny, but I don't know what a Stormzy is, but I can picture it in my mind, and I'm just gonna keep calling them a Stormzy.
We should move on to user questions. User questions?
User questions? We should do news before we do that,
Oh,
because there's been news. I
to
want to
talk.
start with news.
We need to talk about there is going to be no Christmas special.
No Christmas
It
special.
has not been confirmed, but the Daily Mirror reported it. And
Yeah, it must be true
it's
then.
probably true. No Christmas special. Like the article about it had like a quote from Moffat saying, "Oh yeah, I'm struggling to come up with ideas."
Chibnall or
no,
Moffat, right?
Moffat, because he did like what 7.
7ish, yeah. They stopped feeling like Christmas specials though. Like I couldn't.
They
really-
did, like a lot of them just had like vague Christmas concepts.
After the Narnia one, it was very much like.
But fair play to him, he did write a lot of Christmas Day episodes,
Yep.
like 7. And Chibnall hasn't even written one, and he's not gonna.
I like being hyperbolic, and what I said when I heard that was coward. This is a damned coward. But when you think about it,
like why though? Like, can you genuinely not think of a Christmas idea? Like
New Year's Day.
Have the BBC done it?
New Year's Day is very much Sunday compared to Christmas Day's Saturday.
Yeah.
Like I think it's in character for the season to do that. Like
that seems right to me. Like
it seems maybe they'd get more viewers on New Year's.
Sherlock's a very New Year's Day show.
Aye.
Maybe they will get more viewers. I don't know.
I don't know. Don't people go out? No, people go out in huggers. New Year's
People
Eve.
go out and hug.
Yeah.
People generally stay in hungover.
Yeah.
Or New Year's Day.
So you've got them there paralytic.
Everyone in Scotland eats steak pie.
Steak pie. I don't really like steak pie. I don't like pies. I'm a bad man. I'm a bad Scotch person.
You're a bad Scotch.
I saw a man drinking Iron Brew the other day and I had a bit of national pride.
It's not been confirmed yet, but it gives more precedence to the Dalek rumours.
Yes!
Because he even said there won't be Daleks this year.
Ah, right, okay. That's good. That is good. That is
like
good.
Chipper's new.
He knew. Well, to me, it confirms, and I'm going to wait till you finish your drink, it confirms that he voted Brexit. Like, ring in the Brexit year with, like, this non-Christmas special Doctor Who.
I actually saw like a vaguely incriminating Moffat quote where he's like, "Oh yeah, we need to appeal to Brexit voters."
Oh, that's famous. Have you not seen that? Like,
I've
very
never
much.
seen it.
Brexit voters as much as, like, left-wing, liberal,
Yeah.
I can't even say it. But, yes. I totally believe that Moffat voted stay or whatever. Like
I think he basically said as much in that quote. Like, he's like, "That's not me politically." But
that's not me politically at all.
Moffat's very much a Scotch.
I bet. Do you think that he voted like in the Scottish referendum?
Moffat would have voted no. I think. I don't know.
I don't.
I don't like.
Don't really know him personally to say
I
that,
don't know
but
if he'd have had a vote.
yeah.
He lived in Cardiff at the time. Again, he could have had a house there.
Yeah. He's got ties. He's a Scotsman. He's got curly hair.
I was actually reading an interview that his mum died, like in
Oh.
that last series with the Bill one.
Really, that makes a lot of sense because that's him working through his grief there with Heaven Sent.
No, it was the one after that. But
All right. Oh, with Bill. Yeah, that makes less sense then. But news. I really want there to be a bit like after the season. It's great that they're doing all new monsters and concepts and like things, cast members and stuff.
Okay.
They need to do a big banger Dalek episode.
Let's talk about this. Is that serving the show though? All these new monsters, like
yes, it is because. As much as I would love to see an Ice Warrior
not
romping and stomping about the
bangers
thing.
though. Like it's just spiders. Like,
Yeah, but that's like a entry level thing. Like, and I think it's them being more Black Mirror-y. Like Black Mirror does all these like grim new concepts and whatever, and I think that's they're trying to do like a kind of tea time Black Mirror. I feel like that because like that episode was like spiders. Spiders are coming to get you.
The thing is,
people know what spiders
you can bring
are.
back old old Who did like New Who's done this all the time, where you bring back old things and then
new
old fans
context.
get a kick of it, and then
it's
new
win-win.
fans don't care and they probably appreciate this. Like, oh yeah, there's like this really old thing that's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Like even I hadn't seen a lot of old Who when I started watching New Who, and I still got a kick out of when they were bringing back old things.
I feel like
we're honouring the history of the show. I don't know. Like I'm not saying it's bad.
I totally subscribe to that viewpoint. I feel like Moffat, or at least I feel like the view was Moffat got too into the old things without kind of giving them new things to do. Because remember he brought back the Great Intelligence.
I know, but that was great.
It was great, but like I feel like folk wouldn't really.
The thing is, you can't
enjoy
criticize
that.
Moffat because Moffat had tons of new stuff.
Why?
Like tons of new stuff.
It was mostly like scary. Like it was mostly the Weeping Angels and like a big kind of database where dead people are stored because he did that. The silence. Well, like
the flesh.
Was that? I suppose. Was that even him? I suppose it was him. But like, was that something they farmed out with the flesh? I feel like that wasn't a Moffat written episode.
Yeah, it was Moffat written.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Moffat wrote a lot of episodes.
He did. He wrote too many episodes. Like, I'm not even saying that as like we wrote. Like he should have done less to be more hits. You know, like there's a lot of episodes that he did that he could have just like farmed out.
I mean, to be fair, by the end he was doing like less episodes than what Chibnall's done this series.
I wish Chibnall. I don't like any of Chibnall's dialogue, but like he should just commit to doing it all. Like, because like
I think it might have been a lot worse if he had done that.
Aye, but then that would have been something to talk about and like at least a thing.
So yeah, next week we'll finally get our first episode with.
I'm not done talking about Daleks. Like they need to do a big danger, a big danger Christmas or even New Year's Dalek episode, and like you get to have both things then, because you get to do your like, no, we committed to this and we did an all new monsters, all new concept season, but also it's New Year's Day and we're doing a huge dumb Dalek episode.
I was just more questioning. Like I think there is a place for it.
Why? Like I want this New Year's episode or Christmas episode, whatever it turns out to be like the Daleks have a bomb and they're going to do something with a bomb and maybe there's a plague and then they killed some people and then the Doctor beat them and everyone can be happy.
And then no other episodes in 2019.
Yes, that is the other news, isn't it? That's the
I don't
main.
think it's been confirmed.
No, nothing's been confirmed because apparently they don't confirm anything, which I think has been working out for them because, like I said, I've been going into blind to most of these episodes and it's worked out quite well. I don't think they're making any more episodes because of Brexit. I think Brexit's happened, and now the BBC won't have any funding next year, and it'll just be panel shows, if that.
We'll see.
And I'm okay with Doctor Who having gap years. I think it makes it more special because it isn't just like, oh, Doctor Who's back again.
But it doesn't. It's not good for the ratings.
Well, no, not making a show isn't great for the ratings, but like,
At least splits are terrible for.
oh, I wouldn't want it to a split. I think that see if they end on like a cliffhanger, but there's gonna be a New Year's one at least, or at least that's the rumor. So that would have to be the cliffhanger. See if you did like a huge cliffhanger. See if you murdered Bradley Walsh live on television, and then they were just like, come back in 2 years.
Could that? Should we move on to user questions?
Yeah,
I
because
keep saying user
questions. Hello, users.
That's me.
That's your culture, isn't it?
That's my computing culture. We call everyone users.
Users. Have you seen Tron, by the way? Have you seen like old original Tron? You'd love Tron.
James in Dundee says, "What's your favourite one-off villain stroke monster?"
I tried to think about this again.
I haven't thought about it.
No. We've talked a lot about the Reapers.
Yeah.
Like, the Reapers only got used once, famously. They look great. They have a mouth on their chest. They have a very, like, suggestive mouth on their chest, if you look them up. They're quite weird. They've got those tails that are just like scythes. It was 2005. I don't know.
Whatever the thing from Midnight was, Midnight is just...
Midnight is like, what is the question? The answer is Midnight. The thing from... I like the use of the thing from Midnight, but I don't see when it takes like the woman as like a host.
Yeah.
And like it's really good, but I don't necessarily... Again, I need toyetic things. See when something's just like a vague concept threat, not as enjoyable for me, even though it's good. It's hard because everything gets used again. Can we say Autons technically in New Who? Because like they do come back for like stuff, but as a monster they're
the monster in Heaven Sent.
The corpse woman,
Yeah.
like the Doctor saw when he was a kid.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. That was really effective. The flies made me question if there was actually flies in the house when I was watching that. So it's pretty good. I feel like we should have better answers for this. The ghost witches from the Shakespeare Code. possibly the worst episode of New Who.
Maybe,
Like Fear Her and Love and Monsters
all I
are the
can remember
ones.
from the Shakespeare Code is that like comedy line about the last Harry Potter bit.
Yeah.
Literally all I can remember.
Shakespeare says "Hey nonny nonny" at one point, which makes me laugh. And Shakespeare, it's one of those like New Who, like Shakespeare is like a guy, like.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
It's not just terrible; it's forgettable and bland and boring and like doesn't need to exist and like. I think it's worse than Love and Monsters. I'll say that on the podcast.
Ooh.
Like Love and Monsters
Hot take.
is fine.
I'll say this for Love and Monsters. At least it's not set in the past.
It's not set in the past. It has an ELO soundtrack, and Kier K's in it. There you go. The Absorbaloff is quite a memorable one-off monster as well. To be fair.
Yes.
Like
Not my favourite though.
No, Sladine, I guess.
I just love the sheer BBC-ness of the Absorbaloff. Like, you came up with that dumb Blue Peter competition and you had to go through with it.
I love that. Like, that's great. They should do more of that. That's something that wouldn't happen in this day and age. Only in 2005, 2006.
It would have been 2005, so
No, it would have been.
they would have had
Yeah.
something to you.
I was saying the Autons because the Autons are in New Who in places, but they're only like. They're only. I know they're a returning classic monster as well, but like
You can't call the Autons a one-off.
But I feel like there's a fight to be made there because like, why haven't they done another Auton episode?
I know.
Like, it's been like how many years? Like 15? 60, 8? How? I don't even know how many years it's been.
Moffat's first finale
13.
had the Autons.
Moffat-
8 years.
Yes, like they
Rory
were in it.
was an Auton.
Yeah, but it wasn't like an Auton episode.
I know it wasn't, but the Autons were in it.
It's a pet peeve of mine that they don't use the Autons more. Just do more, like, do it like a Day of the Dead zombie thing, but it's the Autons, like, in a shopping centre. Like, it writes itself! I feel like there's fun with it. Did he say new or classic here? Like, I keep saying new.
You said one-off villain monster.
Big Fenric.
Candyman.
Every time
Candyman!
they should do a Candyman episode. The
It
Candyman was
absolutely
great.
should.
Have you seen the Candyman's episode? Have you seen Happiness Patrol?
Maybe in the past.
It's
not
an
recently.
episode where the villain is Thatcher. Like, she's got pink hair, but she's basically just Thatcher. And the Candyman isn't even the big villain of that episode. He's just this guy that's in it. And like, I feel like, does he make people into candy? He gets like melted. It's such a grim episode that Candyman's in. It's fantastic. That thingy monster, the Simon Pegg episode, where there's again the bleach CGI monster on the ceiling, the Jaggerfest. RTD could name monsters like.
He could.
Have you got one? Because I like this
I
question.
said like midnight, like Candyman.
You can't just keep saying midnight.
I
Midnight.
said Heaven Sent.
You did. You did. What's the next question?
Ian from Sterling. If you were a Time Lord, which companion or companions would you choose to accompany you through space and time? Either from the series or history. I would go on Rory.
Rory's a solid guy.
Rory's just a solid ass companion.
Do you know about Harry's...
Rory and Ace. That's my answer.
Rory and Ace is a good
Yeah.
team, yeah. TARDIS team or fan.
That would be my TARDIS fan.
I really like
Rory
Harry,
because he's awesome. Ace
Yeah.
because he's awesome. Like, there we go.
an Auton and an explosives expert. Yeah. Do you know about Harry Sullivan from like the Fourth Doctor's like first time? When he's in
Yeah,
Genesis,
vaguely, yeah.
like that. I really like him for some reason. Like I really like the episodes that he's in. He's just really fun. Like he's
My-
like a
my
like a
third
70s
choice
blazer
would be-
wearer.
My third choice would be Jamie.
Jamie,
I like
damn it, you've stolen Jamie. Like, Jamie's great. I was reading on the wiki about Jamie. Jamie dies in a comic.
What?
Yeah, he gets killed. I don't know how he dies. It's like a Cyberman comic, and it's not that death hasn't been contradicted by any piece of media since like the late 80s. Like, nothing in Big Finish has ever like contradicted Jamie's
Bring
death.
Jamie back. Chibnall.
Well, he can come back. Like, it's a time travel thing. So he's had so many adventures, but like they've never actually set out to be like, no, Jamie didn't die in this. It's fine. We've got 10% left.
Get Chibnall on the phone.
I'm gonna plug the thing in. But the fact is that comic was written by Grant Morrison. Grant Morrison killed Jamie.
Oh my god!
Yeah. just
What
looking.
a bastard!
He must have liked him. He must have liked him because it was the 80s. It was like a sixth Doctor comic.
That's like how Doctor Who writers really like someone by killing them off so they can say they did it.
So no one else can kill them off.
Yeah.
Do you have a block so I can plug this? Yeah, there you go. Because we've got a lot of questions to get through. Because we didn't. Let me take this one out. We didn't read them all last week. We had so many. That's how popular the podcast is.
Oh yeah, we're going up in the world.
We have had quite a number of them. I've been thinking about this. I was thinking the other day I would take Jack Kirby of comics fame in the TARDIS.
Okay.
Because you know how there was that episode with Vincent Van Gogh? Just do that.
Oh yeah, I get Oh yeah, it does say either from the series or history. So
Yeah.
I never actually.
Series or history. I would take Jack Kirby and would go fight, like the Doctor would go fight space Nazis with Jack. That seems like it would write itself.
Yeah. Ooh,
Like-
who would my historical figure be? I think.
I thought about Napoleon for a while. I don't know why, but like Napoleon seems like it would be fun in the TARDIS. The problem is a lot of people from history are bastards when you get down to it.
Yeah. Historical figure.
Who's a good like
I'm trying to make like a computer historical figure.
a computer
So
like
that's
Turing?
like
I suppose you could do
Turing,
Turing.
yeah, Turing, that's a good choice.
You could do Turing stuff. More 20th century folk, I would guess, but like Mary Shelley's been a companion in Big Finish. She was an
Nice.
8th Doctor companion. I don't know what you think about your historical one because I don't know who I'd have from like the series because I think they're all pretty good and everybody's already had their show to do things. So like, what's a funner? And you've already said Jamie, so like.
If we're talking about historical figures, what about Van Gogh? Sort of, I guess, is like a Doctor Who companion.
Van Gogh had his episode.
Yeah.
Like you can't really do more.
No, you're right.
Although he did turn up again after that, didn't he? Because he painted not the Pandorica.
Yeah, he did the Pandorica picture.
Yeah.
He was very, very close to
Yeah.
death at that point.
That killed
I
him.
remember
The
he was
Pandorica
crying.
killed him. Yeah, he was
And
crying and screaming, but like
Yeah.
then that didn't really go anywhere with the Pandorica. Like those are good episodes, whatever. But like the Pandorica itself isn't really anything.
I love the way they use all the stuff, like all the characters from that series. Though.
Oh, aye.
I love that.
Yeah, that is. I forget that they do that. Like, isn't Churchill there?
Churchill's there. And
Yeah. Bracewell, like the Dalek scientist man.
That Van Gogh episode is fantastic.
Oh, aye.
It's excellent.
Mhm.
Like, excellent.
It's up there. It's
It's a
up
very
there.
good episode.
That giant invisible chicken monster is pretty
That's
good.
like a 9 out of 10 Doctor Who episode, that is.
10 out of 10.
But yeah, the monster's not great,
But it's like an
It's
allegory for
serviceable,
depression, so like it's an invisible monster that you can't defeat. Like,
they got Richard Curtis to write a
they
Doctor
did.
Who episode.
They should do more stuff like that. They
I
should do
know.
big banger like again, like I was saying, get Grant Morrison in there. Just
Yeah.
free reign. I don't care what madness he like smears on a canvas. Just make that happen. He did a gaming episode. Like
Yeah,
he did 2 of them. What are you doing?
they got gaming to write Simon, man.
They did. Apparently, he doesn't like that episode. No. He didn't have
yeah,
creative
it's not-
control or something like he did with the first one. Because that first one's very much like a gaming thing. Like it's got gaming characters, and then the second one's like we're introducing the new Cyberman toy. Whee. They've got super speed that we'll never show
Was it him
again.
that wrote The Doctor's Wife?
Yeah.
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 I want to say Moffat rewrote that heavily. I
Really,
could be wrong.
really.
Mm.
I'd have to look into that. Because it reads as a very gaming thing.
Yeah,
Like,
but I'm sure, I don't know, maybe, I'm sure I read that Moffat had to rewrite it.
didn't he rewrite the Cyberman a lot because that would fit with gaming not
Possibly,
liking it,
yeah, I don't know.
and it'd been a very like Clara thing and. Historical figure. Do we know Mitch historical figures is the problem. Monaghan. Was he actually called the statue in Glasgow?
Donald Dewar.
Donald Dewar. That's a historical figure that I know because are they not moving that statue? Is that not a thing?
I don't think so.
I heard something about them moving that statue. I don't know if it was
There's
my
a
mum.
thing where when they first planted it, it wasn't on a high enough plinth, so people like climbed up it and
Recently,
stole glasses.
and it might have been my mum telling me this, but they're thinking about moving that statue. Cause aren't they doing something with the galleries behind it and they're getting demolished or something? Like
There's talk of them moving the steps.
Aye, that's
I don't
probably
think.
what it is.
Yeah, I don't think that's. I think the immediate risk of that's over.
Some local colour for you there, listeners. We should probably move on to the next question because we don't really have hot answers for them.
Rory and Ace.
Rory and Ace and Jamie. Yeah, I mean, you've got 3 companions there. So you've got the 13th Doctor's problem,
Yeah.
but they all are fantastic.
No. My answer is Rory and Ace. Like Jamie's
Oh,
like,
right.
no.
Jamie just
I
like...
want Rory and Ace. Alana from Sterling. How do you feel it's holding up against previous seasons' expectations? Like, it's sort of like, I don't think it's as good as
Mixed.
Moffat. Like, it's nowhere near as good as Moffat's first series.
No. Or
Some of the-
RTD's first
No,
season.
you're right. RTD, yeah. But some of the episodes themselves are. But as a season, I don't think it's.
As a
like,
season,
building
it's
up.
not.
Because, like, well, we're talking about how we build it into our expectation. Remember how I had those expectations about how there would be like a through line, like we'd be leading towards something? They
Kinda looks like
vaguely
they will.
hinted that in the second episode, but there's really been nothing.
Well, the
on
second
it.
episode hit that on the RTD-ness, because
Yeah.
I was expecting that kind of Netflix style. Every episode will connect and it'll be like an
Yeah, I
ongoing
was really
plot.
expecting that, but they've not done
No,
that.
like it's been standalone, and they've went the whole Bad Wolf route with the Timeless Child.
Yeah,
Which
although
had a million
there
videos.
was some. I've read some more recent theories that the people just think the Timeless Child is like a line that not really super relevant.
No, I can't. It will
I've
be.
seen
There
some
will be a
people
finale where
I've seen some
Bradley
people
Walsh is
reading
the
it into that
Timeless
way.
Child. Like that was set up, and it will have payoff.
I'm
And
not saying that's what they're. I'm just saying I've read some people reading it that way.
I would like that to be the case, but it will. The last episode will have the Timeless Child, and it'll be a thing. And like people criticised, and it's a genuine fault that Moffat who sets up things but then never delivers. They will deliver on the Timeless Child. Like that will be the finale. Like the way they telegraphed that, it can be nothing else. And I will eat my hat if it isn't. Because, holy God, see when they mentioned like, ooh, Doctor, the Timeless Child, we're a psychic paper and we know things somehow. It was the most RTD, Torchwood, Bad Wolf, like, Harold Saxon moment.
Yeah, I wish there was more throughputs, because
Through plots.
like people who don't like that are dumb. Like good TV has like through
People
plots.
people binge 10 hours of like a Netflix show
I know.
that is nothing but one, like, 10-hour
Yeah.
film. Like, I know people, it's a genuine problem that Moffat's who got a wee, not complex, but kind of, but
all
just
over
kind
the
of,
place. Like it was hard to follow.
Yeah,
plots.
absolutely.
I agree, it did go too far.
in places.
In places, like a series one. Like if you can understand that, why are you watching Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Like come on.
But there's nothing complex, or, like, it gets a bit kind of convoluted,
Yeah.
but, like, it's not, and, like, people were saying it was,
Also, you don't have to understand like every second. It's just TV. Like
Yeah.
just watch it. You don't have to understand every single second of it.
but, like, it's not even that, it's like, you're watching something with the, because, like, see when something happens, you don't have to understand it instantly, because you're watching a thing and it will be explained within the context of the show.
Yeah.
Like at the start of this episode, it doesn't matter why they were on a junk planet, that was just a fun thing they were doing that
Yeah.
led to the episode. Like, you don't have to understand it. I don't need the deep lore of that.
And I
junk
guess my
planet.
point is, if like we're not going down this route like through plots so much, I'd want better episode to episode character development. And we've
Yes.
very much not had that.
No, the characters have been terrible, I would
It's
say.
like Graham's
Bradley Walsh.
fine, but only in like a your dad like
Great, well, Bradley Walsh is holding it together. Like,
yeah.
if that was any other, like, is Keith Chegwin alive?
No, he
Did
died.
Keith Chegwin die?
Keith Chegwin died.
Right, like, like, the character of Graham is only holding it together because he is Bradley Walsh. Like, Ryan could be a better character if he wasn't just that actor. Like, if it was some other character playing, like, the characters have not been great. The Doctor has a new character that I don't necessarily gel with because of what they're trying to do with her. Like, making her less of, like, kind of egotistical monster that knows everything, which is a good thing they should be doing, but doesn't really work when the show is called Doctor Who.
It doesn't make for the best TV.
No, and, like, it doesn't make for the best, like, it's a thing where, like, you should take it on its merits. That's what I was saying. Like, you watch the show, it doesn't matter why they're on the junk planet, it's just an episode of sci-fi that's happening. And, like, you should probably watch it with that intent. But we've seen 50 years of the Doctor just rocking up to a thing and being like, no, I'm the Doctor, and this thing will happen. So when you're presenting this new Doctor like the way they are, and, like, things just don't work out for her, or she doesn't challenge villains, or challenge space racists,
No.
or challenge Trump on his Trumpisms, like, it doesn't come off well, and it doesn't read as good TV, and, like, I've seen a lot of people getting into the new Doctor as this kind of, like socially awkward but happy person, and like I've seen a lot of fan art and like fan comics of like that as a character. But that's not what I think of when I think of the new Doctor. I think of her as just kind of perpetually confused by things.
I love your description. I love, like, she just sort of like walks through scenes going, oh.
She does. And, like, I don't want that to be the case. And it feels like I'm being horrible to like the Doctor, and it feels like it sounds like I'm being sexist. Like that's the trap, because like she's not doing cool things. She had that great antimatter moment,
Like,
which was great.
I wish there was more of that.
I wish there was more of that. And like, again, I think it's great that they've stepped back from the Doctor riding into scenes on tanks playing guitars, because that happened in Capaldi's Seconds. That definitely happened. Like, I'm glad that they've made the Doctor more human. It just, you should also have moments where she's like, no, Trump, you won't walk away from this scene to be a threat in another episode. I'll shut you down. Also, I have to stop myself here, and I apologise for like breaking into the questions, but you know how she didn't want to kill those spiders?
Yeah.
Do you remember that time when there was all those spiders at the centre of the Earth, and they were going to burst out into the world?
Vaguely, yeah.
It was the Rachnos, and it was
Yep.
Catherine Shakespeare's episode. Do you remember how David Tennant drowned all those spider babies? And they weren't just like spiders; they were like sentient alien babies, and they were coming up. Remember when he stood there when like water was like gushing down, and he just stood there and let them.
It's been 12 years since I've seen that episode, but yes.
And like there was like fire and death, and he was just like, no.
I remember there was like the Arachnos basically going, I'm melting!
Yeah, it's like, my babies! Like, he killed. Like, the Doctor murdered those spider babies to death. Horrifically. And then, like, the new Doctor's like, no, don't kill.
Guns, no guns!
No guns. It's like,
The
I'm
no
not
guns
asking
thing,
them
the no
to.
guns thing is like a boring person's like thing they talk about Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Like boring people say that about.
I was looking at a shot of Pertwee holding, like, an assault rifle with, like, Joe Grant next to him, and he was, like, posing with it. Like, I know times have changed and everything, but, like, I'm very much anti-gun as well. Like, as
So am I,
like
but,
everyone, like, we're British, and like I quite.
There's
like,
a place for it sometimes.
There's a place for it always, and there's a place for it done well, and like.
The Doctor's used the gun.
Remember that time he was gonna.
David Tennant held a gun.
He did. It was like that was a crossing the line kind of moment though, like, because he's like the man that never would or whatever.
Yeah.
Aye,
because the whole point was, I'm not gonna do it. Like,
and that scene's great though, where he's like switching between the guns and like there's like a clack, there's like a load sound every time he like moves, even though it's loaded. It's great.
I don't think Matt Smith did hold a gun because he
Oh,
shot a gun at the end of.
He had that gun in the cowboy episode.
Yeah.
I don't
He
know.
had the gun at the end of the Angels Angels episode because he shoots at the end of the episode.
Oh yeah.
Maybe.
He also does a lot of genocides, does Matt Smith's Doctor. Like he encouraged everyone on Earth to kill the Silence at the end of that two-parter.
Yeah.
Like because it was like a perception filter thing, and then people noticed them, and then people murdered them. He convinced civilians and like just normal people hypnotically to murder an entire race of aliens on Earth, and that's one example of the Doctor's casual use of the genocide button.
Fiona from Sterling. Everyone's fave Who outfit and why. Any trivia on different Doctors' outfits would be cool too.
It might be old age setting in, but the older I get, the more into Colin Baker's jacket I get. There was a point there
It's
before
wacky.
Halloween. Sorry?
It's wacky.
It's too wacky. It's beyond wacky. It's horrendous. it's the worst thing the Doctor's ever worn, and it's famously the worst thing he's ever worn, and it famously probably like contributed to that cancellation that happened. But the older I get, the more in love with it I become. And like there was a genuine bit there before Halloween where I was like, could I knock together like a sixth Doctor's coat somehow? Like.
You know who I like Eccleston's and Matt Smith's first one?
I like Eccleston's jumper change.
Yeah.
See, is it like the World War II one where he's like, I've changed my jumper.
Yeah.
Like,
That leather jacket is incredible.
it's great. That's
And Matt Smith's play between the bow tie is great.
the first one. You really like.
Yeah,
You don't like.
I don't like the second one so much. It's fine, but
It's
a bit
more
generic
doctory.
Doctor,
Yeah. I think when they get into generic Doctor territory, it's quite bad. Like the fourth Doctor is like coat, like it's just like a 70s coat and like
the scarf.
the scarf, and like he wears like grey just trousers with
Yeah.
shoes, And then like later seasons, he's more doctory. He's got like a waistcoat and like a long red coat.
Yeah.
It doesn't look great at all.
Really not keen on David Tennant's costumes.
Really?
Like it's all
Really?
one colour. Like it's all brown.
What about the blue one? I love the blue
The
one.
blue one, I do. The blue suit. That's good. That's my favourite.
That's one of the other reasons why I like Smith and Jones as much as I do.
Well,
That's the first...
you like the Waters of Mars, mate.
Oh.
That's prime blue suit.
Well, there's different blue suits because he's got his blue suit that's like his standard one, and then he's got like an open.
He only gets the blue suit in series 3.
He does.
That was the free series 3 gimmick.
Yeah, it was. It was
Does he wear it for all that series, or does he wear brown also?
He does wear brown. Maybe it's me think. Yeah, because he does.
The brown
darks.
is really bad.
Really, I like with a big coat, and he looks like an X-Files character.
The
like,
coat's fine, it's just the way it's all brown. I do like the Collins, but for such an iconic Doctor, his
I believe I
costume's
got
not
Collins
great.
because he had Collins. He's like the face of the brand, though, as wee David Tennant cutting about in his wee like pinstripe suit.
I think the pinstripes, when it's all brown, like he's got the coat on
Yeah.
top of the brown, on top of the brown.
He adds stuff to it. He's got his like 3D glasses
Yeah.
and like his brainy specs. I think about
Tennant and the orange spacesuit.
the orange spacesuit is iconic. So much so that they could never get rid of it, and they had like Matt Smith and Capaldi in it. I don't actually know if Matt Smith was in it, but Capaldi definitely was at one point.
Yeah.
And that Kill the Moon episode. The see Peter Davidson's like
Peter
cricket
Davidson's
outfit,
cricket
quite
outfit.
like.
Fucking love Pertwee's.
Oh, aye, everything. See, I like Pertwee's. What do you think of Pertwee's ones? Because he's got a lot of slightly different ones.
It's just the first one, like that one he gets out of the hospital.
That doctor's like dandy outfit that he like. He's got like a.
What's it like the little like wavy thing?
I was gonna call it
cravat?
a cravat. I was gonna call it a croissant, but that's not what
I
that
think
is.
it's a cravat. I'm not
Yeah.
really sure.
He's got that's like a kind of cape thing as well that he like holds
the
up.
cape,
Like, yeah. Like I like his he gets a later one. I think it's the one in the season with because he has Sarah Jane for a season.
He does.
In that season, he's got like a kind of nice wee jacket, like it's a green kind of jacket, and he's still got his like frills on underneath it. I really like that. That's kind of what I think of when I think of Mark Gatiss. Is that green frilly jacket?
Never seen on TV, but I like McGann's like blue. Is he got like blue leather?
It's blue
jacket?
leather, yeah, it's great.
Cool, like that.
It's still got the
I
buttons.
quite like what he wears on that one time, the special that he was in, the mini YouTube special.
I don't like that as much.
I don't like it as much.
Because like they had the opportunity to have his blue jacket in there, but they basically had him. It was kind of like the War Doctor's
sort of
midpoint, because the War Doctor gets his leather jacket as well, which is very like Eccleston. Because the War Doctor was going to be Eccleston, but then Eccleston very much didn't want to come back for that. What a monster! What a monster!
That's not like that. Like we knew that's what, but it's been explicitly confirmed by Moffat that that is literally.
Hasn't been explicitly, because like he's very much there to be like, I'm a not as fun Doctor, and you young whippersnappers.
Want to do it like that.
It gave us Hurt as the Doctor.
Which that's a great thing to have happened.
Yeah, and that reveal of Hurt at the
I
end.
just hope, like at the end of his Eccleston's career, I know he won't.
I think he's up for it more now. I think he's talked about it.
I just hope he gets a pang of regret. Like,
I was in G.I. Joe 1 and I was in, or was it, what was he in that, was it Thor 2?
it's like, that special is like top 10 Doctor Who episodes. Like, real shit. And he's not in it.
I think it's got its problems, but it is made of hype.
Like, it's just incredible.
He
It's so
is in
good.
it though. You have to give him that. He's in that like archive footage where he says fantastic.
Fantastic.
And then do we see like some waxwork ears at one point? I think we watched it recently and there isn't any. You don't see anything of them during Hurt's regeneration. But I have memories of being in the cinema and seeing like
there's a bit at the
cardboard
end.
ears.
There's a bit at the end where there's a cardboard cut.
There is that, but like I feel like there was a regeneration scene where you saw some comedy ears happening.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Mandela effect, I guess.
I feel like the effect you might be able to see like the vague beginnings of Eccleston at one point, but
I really like McGann's blue. I don't like his like actual outfit from the TV movie. I really don't like his hair.
Bad. It's just like
it's very generic Doctor.
Like Americans like look at Doctor and it's terrible. Anyways, should we call it?
Is that the last question? Do we have any left
question.
for next week? Or?
No, there's none left for next week.
Yeah, we should wrap it up. The power is
Send us your
dying.
user questions.
Yeah, we should say that on the podcast.
Yeah.
Should we start taking like off-topic ones, or should we like?
Yeah.
just
off the yeah.
If you've got any questions for us, Doctor Who or not, send them our way. We'll
Other TV shows.
we'll talk about Sherlock. We'll talk about Fortnite and get the sweet numbers
Yeah.
in. The Fortnite, I'm gonna wrap off with Fortnite. Fortnite happened this evening before Doctor Who, and there was a floating island.
all
Did you
the
see the
screenshots.
floating island explode?
Yeah, well, I'm not seeing it in video. But
We were in it when it happened. It exploded, and then everything went white, and everybody was floating, and you could see every one of the 100 other people floating about.
Nice. Could
And
you
then
kill them?
no, you were floating in a void. You didn't have your guns, and then there was like Tron stuff going on, and it looked like the game grid. And then a butterfly landed, and that was it. Really,
That's a great event.
it happens only once. Like when you're in it, and it's people died before it happened because you could have died in the
Oh,
match
shit.
before it happened. So if you got killed, you just didn't see it. And then the land reformatted, and there's a new area, and then we died, and then we got kicked out, and it took about 20 minutes to get back into the game because it was like 14 minutes or something to load back into the menu, and then get into a party, and then like it was like the biggest thing to happen tonight, which wasn't Doctor Who.
I'd
Like-
say it's much more of a cultural event than Who.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I meant to say there. That like Doctor Who happened tonight, but like
It's
Traffic
series
report.
5 of a series.
episode 5 of a series in 11. Thanks for listening,
We'll see
everyone.
you next week for the Demons of Punjab.
The demons.
or whatever.
It looks like Shredder. Did you see that guy?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
I hope it looks like Shredder.
Hopefully it's good.
Hopefully
we
it's a
get
Yaz
development.
episode.
That's prime hope. If we come out of it knowing not much more about Yaz, then I'm just like, no.
Well, we might learn a lot about Yaz's grandmother.
Yeah, we're like.
Which, in normal TV or normal content, that would be grounds to learn more about Yaz herself.
But this is not like.
This is not that.
Fingers crossed. We'll see you next Sunday. Bye.
Bye.
That was a good act.